Warning. The facts you are about to hear are based off 2 hours of researching the pros and cons of history's heroes and most controversial figures. This is Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history.
For a second.
It looks like that, actually.
If I did do that, I would rock ones that were like this color if I was allowed. I don't know how that works.
I don't know how that works either.
I'd be killing it. I'd be all out
Like,
with it.
because you can... I've never heard of anyone converting to Sikh.
No. You never hear that.
I wonder why. Because I would like to be Sikh.
Really?
Man,
It would suit you.
buddy.
You got the beard for
The
it.
Punjabi community, the way they fucking prop each other up, it's a blessed thing to be, man.
Yeah, man. You don't get that anywhere else.
I told you, like, I played a Punjabi sport for a summer. Kabaddi.
No.
Indian sport, whatever. But in a Punjabi league, so it's called Kabaddi. And yeah, they give you money when you score and stuff. Like, Kabaddi is like wrestling mixed with tag. Like, pretty much you have to go like touch this guy and he has to try and stop you from getting into the goal. Like running through a finish line, pretty much.
Oh, so it's called pause ball.
Pause ball, yeah.
Is that what you call it? That's
yeah.
pause ball.
And they would have the announcer. You could hear him, and everyone else he's speaking Punjabi for, but for me, he'd be like, "James on the raid. James, very fast, very smart."
Really?
Yeah.
He would always just change it up for you just so you could hear it. That's
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah. Me and there was one black guy, Kadeem, and they called him Kaboom. And he was sick too. He was like a football running back, so it was a great sport for him. I was good at it because I used to do wrestling and I was pretty fast.
It sounds. I gotta see that sport. It sounds weird.
Really cool sport, actually. Honestly,
It sounds so weird.
it's a sport that I feel like it could be very popular in America if it was if they got a lot of Americans playing it, because it's an aggressive sport. It's like, it's pretty cool. You still get like the moves of football, like running backs kind of thing, like to try and juke a man out.
Yeah.
But then you also have some slapping in the head and like guys just trying to get by you. That it's really good, actually, really good sport.
Really?
I only played for one summer. I fucked up my ankle and I got screwed a little bit. Like I said, I just want to be Punjabi. I just want to be accepted like all the other Punjabi boys on the team. But there was a point where our team got invited to go to India for like the World Cup, and the sponsors of the team like were like, we want the white guy to go. That guy's he's good, and it's just a good look.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know that they said that because I didn't find out till like 2 months later after they had already came and went. And I used to work at a gym, and the sponsor came in and he's like, "Oh, why didn't you go?" And I was like, "What? They told me I wasn't invited." The captain of the team wanted like another Punjabi guy to go instead of me, so he told the sponsors that I said no.
Wow.
And it would have been a trip paid for and everything to India. Oh, I was so cheesed, yo.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you know that guy?
Who did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still know him?
I still know him. To me, I'm just like, I was like, yo, what the fuck? And he's just like, yo, these guys have been playing like their whole lives. Like, it makes he didn't want, you know what I mean?
That's what he said that to you?
Like, it was basically like being like,
Bro, I would beat the shit out of that guy.
I didn't.
Not
I honestly,
my words.
the way I took it was like,
I would find that guy and I'd punch him in his mouth.
the way I
a
took it was
bunch
like,
of
these guys are
times.
looking out for their own people, and like they screwed me, but it was still nice that the sponsors thought that at least. But whatever.
That's bullshit.
I know it is bullshit
Bro, that's like an Irish heritage moment.
to be the first guy to go play kabaddi. In
No,
India.
like just that this happened. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Stop Irish hate, guys. The fuck's going on with you guys? The fuck?
Stop Irish hate. Yeah. Either way, I'm still bigging up the sport, and I'm still bigging up the Punjabi community, because I just think, yo, they fucking big each other up, man. If you start a business and you're Punjabi and you link up with the community, they support, man. Look at Superwoman. Superwoman blew up off the strength of Punjabi.
Superwoman?
You know her?
No. Oh, yes, I do.
She's from Canada. She had
Isn't her name like
she had a
Lily?
fucking booming YouTube, millions, like made lots of money off YouTube, and then got the talk show. Now, obviously, the talk show might not be your thing. Like, people are hating on the talk show, but
I heard it sucks.
it sucks. Sure, I haven't even watched it, but I'm not gonna fight that. But I will say she made quality content on YouTube. But she had, like, there's a reason that she got big.
Yeah,
but it wasn't for being a talk show host.
No. I think it's smart. Like, David Dobrik was like supposed to be like a talk show host like in the future, and I think that's a thing to stay away from for those little YouTube people.
Vlogging is not being a talk show host. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
you can do a vlog, you can do all your cuts. It's not live. Talk show host, there's a lot more like riffing, spur of the moment stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't do that.
And,
For you guys.
yeah. Anyways, we're wasting all this time talking about people that will be forgotten in history. Honestly.
Oh yeah.
Will they be forgotten in history?
Those people?
Yeah.
Yeah, they will.
I don't know.
All of them.
I don't know. Lily Singh met The Rock.
Did she?
Yeah.
Good for him.
And he was like, I know who you are.
Oh, he's lying.
Yeah.
He didn't know.
It doesn't matter who you are.
Can you imagine he said that and then he just went back on a rope and just did the people's elbow to her?
Oh yeah.
That'd be fucking crazy.
He's great. Speaking of great men,
I'd still love him.
we're here back for another episode of Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history. I'm your host, James Jam Easy Cummins, and I'm here once again with my co-host,
Colin Cummings.
Yeah, we spell our last names differently. If you don't know, now you know. Today we're talking about a guy, interesting guy. They named a city after him, but he's had many names in his life. They just chose his most recent one. We're talking about the Crown Prince of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh.
Yeah, okay. I've heard that name. Now that you say it like that, when I read it, when you wrote it to me, I couldn't read it because I can't read.
So we heard about him on an episode in February, Black History Month. Fred Hampton, leader of the Black Panther Party, Illinois. He actually was inspired by this guy's book. I think he had a book called The Blueprint of the Revolution. And Ho Chi Minh led a revolution to free Vietnam, to have Vietnam as an independent country, which was always, to me, when I looked at that war, I'm like, wow, Vietnam, such a small place, winning a war against America, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's insane. I think they're one of what you call dragon states. Like there was like certain places that wouldn't give in to like, whether it be like, I don't know if it was China or like just a central banking system, like they wouldn't give into it, and they got labeled as like dragon states. And they got a lot of problems coming to them because they want to live free.
They want to live free, but it's interesting because Vietnam as a country, they got passed around like a couple cheapy Asian whores. Japan took them over, China took them over, France took them over, USA. Like so many people have had their fingers in the pot of Vietnam.
Well, maybe it's not a cheap. Maybe it's not cheap. Maybe it's expensive. Maybe it's like Lori. Maybe they're like Lori Harvey. You know. And just some prime guys just come and say, "Hey, what's going on?"
They're a boss ass bitch, and they're not gonna apologize for it.
Vietnam.
Women, it's 21. Have sex with who you want.
Yeah, Vietnam's just like, who's next? Takes a selfie.
Wow. Well, I don't think they were like, who's next? Well, at least not all of them, because a guy like Ho Chi Minh being born into this history, he was born in 1890 when they were part of French Indochina. So it was a France colony, but they had a Chinese guy running it. They put a China guy in charge, like to be their prime minister or whatever, you know?
That's wild.
Yeah.
I think shit like that's so weird.
I'm not too sure how that all came to be, but like I said, a man of many names. He wasn't actually born Ho Chi Minh. He was born Nguyen Sinh Kung. And he was a great student, very smart guy. Confucius, Confucius say this, Confucius say that. Yeah. Very wise. And he was seen as a very accomplished student, so they renamed him Nguyen Tat Tan, and that actually means the accomplished.
Yo, how do you know how to say those two things that you said?
Buddy, I'm a man of mystery myself. I did a contest or a challenge the other day to prove how white you are, but I feel like I could win prove how white you are, prove how Asian you are, prove how brown you are, prove how black you are. I honestly feel like I'm not saying I would ace every test.
Yo,
but I'd get some surprising points. They're like, how the fuck did he know that?
If you won a How Black Are You contest, that'd be fucking wild. That'd be wild.
You know Gary Owen won Best Black Comedian in San Diego?
No.
Back in like the 80s.
No.
And he said it wasn't even close. He's like, he was so much funnier than everyone else.
What the fuck?
Yeah, man.
That's wild. Yo, they shouldn't have gave him that. Can't give him that.
I
guess he has black kids. He has black wife.
I think he got divorced recently too, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, after like 18 years or some shit.
Let's save that for our next show.
Oh,
Wagwan
yeah.
with the Wagwan. Guys, check it out if you haven't yet. You like history? You want to talk about current events? Go over there. Because here we're talking about history. Like I said, back in the day, Ho Chi Minh, born Nguyen Tat Tan, already changed his name. Or no, he was born something else. Now he just changed his name to Nguyen Tat Tan, the accomplished. Now this guy, there's one video that I saw that he said he was exiled, but I couldn't see why he got exiled. So I don't know if he actually got exiled or he just left to travel the world, because everything else I saw was just he wanted to go see the world. He was a very smart guy, very inquisitive guy, and he wanted to learn more about what's going on outside Vietnam. So he went to see the world, and he became a chef and a photo retoucher, basically like back in the 1915s version of doing Photoshop. Yeah. And there he was under a fake name as well. He was in France, and he was just under a fake name. This guy loved new names. He's already had 3 names in his life.
That's weird.
He was in France. So in 1919, they had the Treaty of Versailles. This was the end of the First World War.
Yeah.
So USA and all these other big countries were over in France doing this treaty. And he actually went to the meeting, and he spoke out, and he was asking USA to get France out of Vietnam. He's like, let's make France a free country now that we're all settling this stuff at the Treaty of Versailles. And USA was looking at him like, yo, what's this Asian guy talking about World War? Were they even in the first one?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah.
Who the fuck?
So apparently whoever the president was at that time didn't even acknowledge him, and he took offense to that. And when I look into this story, I'm like, this must have been a turning point in his life, because at that point he's turning to USA for help, turning to capitalism for help.
Yeah.
These guys are the country in the world that's like freeing people.
Yeah.
They must be on our side.
Freedom.
So when he found out that they didn't acknowledge him, he's like, maybe capitalism isn't the way to go.
Yeah.
And that's when he got very interested in communism. So he joined a French Communist Party. Just for a little bit, just to get his feet wet, dip his toes in the water. But he's like, oh, this communist shit tastes good. He went over to Russia, and he posed as a Chinese merchant. Time to change his name again. His name, number 4. He named himself Chen Veng this time.
Yo, what's wrong with this guy?
He's done so many different jobs already. Just been like, oh, let me pretend. This guy's like that guy from Catch Me If You Can. He just keeps changing his identity to get in places.
That was Leonardo DiCaprio in that?
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah,
Frank Abagnale, based on a true story.
Yeah, true.
I would love to talk about that guy. So he went to Russia, and he's posing as a Chinese merchant, but he's also studying communism, because he's like, if you want to know communism, go where the communism really fucking pops off.
You gotta immerse yourself in that shit.
So he went to Russia, and he was really like, this shit is hype. Moved to China, changed his name again. And
for real?
Yeah, Nguyen Ac. You know why he changed his name again? Because he can't go to fucking China posing as a Chinese merchant. Like, Chinese can sniff out a Vietnamese anywhere.
Yeah, true.
In Russia, it's easy to say, I'm Chinese, guys.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, of course you are.
Yeah, they're fine with it.
I don't know if that was a good Russian accent.
No, it wasn't.
How do a Russian accent?
Russian accent?
I'm Chinese, guys.
Oh, fuck. Why can't I do it? Hello, how are you? Yes, you're Chinese? Yes.
Yes, I can see by your face that you're very Chinese.
I see it in your feature, yes. It looks very Chinese.
I
or
see
Kazakhstanian, it could be either.
Ooh.
I don't care. Come work.
True.
Now.
So either way, you can pass as a Chinese guy in Russia, but you can't pass as a Chinese guy in China.
Fucking right.
They're like, what? I see those Vietnamese cheeks. the discernible qualities. Anyways, they he had to change back to basically a Vietnamese name while he was there.
Okay.
And at that time, he was just like, he's like, I know more about communism than Chinese people. I've just been in Russia. Like, he's just still like spreading his wings, kind of like learning things as he goes, kind of thing.
It's so weird to think about people getting pumped about communism.
He got it was all off that tree. It's so crazy because it's so crazy that a war started 30, 40 years later that USA could have avoided if that day they listened.
Yeah, of course.
If they stopped Asian hate then.
Oh, shit.
In 1919 at the Treaty of Versailles. And they heard a young man cry out for a free country. And instead of ignoring him, if they said, let's help.
Yeah.
We're a capitalist country. We help.
Yeah.
But they changed the narrative to, we're a capitalist country. We ignore. Go be a communist.
If there was only hashtags back then, if they had hashtags back then,
buddy,
all this could have been
all
avoided.
this could have been avoided.
They just didn't listen to it, man. But you know what? That's what the U.S. does. They create their own monsters. Straight up. All the time.
Yeah. If this was a movie, about how a bad guy gets created or a good guy.
Yeah.
That was the turning point. Either that's what made him bad or that's what made him good. We will get into that because Ho Chi Minh, even in his own country, there's very divisive opinions, and we'll get into that as we go.
True.
Because so now he returned to Vietnam. It's 1940,
Ho Chi Minh.
and now he lands on the name Ho Chi Minh. He's like, that's it. I am Ho Chi Minh. That name means the bringer of light. So he's went from the accomplished one to a couple fake names in between to the bringer of light.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, of course you're gonna sit there. I'd stay at that one too.
Time to
Bringer of light.
time to wake him up.
Yeah,
Time to shine the light on these guys.
That's so weird. It's so weird that communism sparks all these really smart people. Yeah, it's weird. It's very odd.
It is weird, but it also, just to go back to Fred Hampton being interested in this and going on the FBI's radar, like
Yeah.
FBI was very afraid of communism,
Of course.
and it was basically like Russia. It was also because Russia was like the main bad guy, like their main opposition.
Yeah.
So they saw Russia was communism, USA is capitalism. If they're recruiting their backup,
Yeah.
they're getting, Vietnam involved. They got a couple other countries involved. They were a breeding ground for communism because that's where Ho Chi Minh went to study. And then Fred Hampton was reading books from Ho Chi Minh and from that Russian guy, whatever. Anyways.
Yeah, they create their own monsters.
Yeah.
Like they created that guy, which created, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they do it to themselves.
So, bringer of light, Ho Chi Minh. Now he's bringing the communist ideals. He's in the north, and he starts the Viet Minh, and this is when they got an army together of freedom fighters, let's say, and they seized the northern city of Hanoi in Vietnam from France. So that now they controlled the north, and France held on to the south.
Wow, really?
But the fact is, he came back in 1940, and it took within 5 years, he got he got at least part of the country to be a free country, to be an independent Vietnam. They became North Vietnam, and he was seen as a very virtuous hero. He claimed to be celibate.
Oh yeah.
And
That's different.
that might have been a lie.
Listen,
We're gonna get into that later too.
Listen. Maybe he was celibate under Ho Chi Minh. And maybe the other name.
The other names, yeah.
You know what I mean? Once you change your name, your body count's clean.
I mean, the one Tatan, he likes to fuck. Ho Chi Minh is celibate.
It's like the first name was into feet, second name was into butt stuff.
Yeah. The accomplished. Like I was accomplishing that pussy. You know what I'm talking about? The bringer of light just brings light.
He's like, all right, that's enough, ladies. Back it up.
So France held on to the south, and this is when a civil war happened. Now, when I thought of the Vietnam War, I thought it was USA versus Vietnam, but it wasn't. It started out as Vietnam versus Vietnam.
True.
Like, well, there was so basically there was people that liked the Western life. They liked some of that stuff. They liked capitalist stuff. They didn't want to be communist. So it was a little bit divisive before USA got involved. But when USA heard communism was, they're fighting for communism over there?
Yeah.
Yo, saddle up. We're going to go squash that shit.
We got you.
So they weren't involved for it for like the first 10 years of that war.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it was really interesting because I want to get into it a little later, but my cousin is married to a Vietnamese girl. So I guess my in-law, and I was having a conversation with her last weekend because I was thinking about doing this guy. And she was saying like, yeah, no, my brother and my father fought for the South and my grandpa fought for the North. Like
Wow.
it was like divided like that. And the crazy thing is her brother and dad got arrested and thrown in jail for fighting for the South. And then since her other family members were on the other side, they went and they're like, it was a big mistake. Like these guys, they got tricked into being that, blah, blah, and they bailed them out. But if they didn't have family on the other side, like they might have been fucked for life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they actually got them out even though they were at war.
They got them out even though, but I will say this, like I was asking her, was it to the point where it's like, remember in Cuba, if you tried to leave, like you could get captured basically, like people, they didn't want them to defect.
Yeah.
And I was asking her if Vietnam was like that too. She said, yeah. She said her dad escaped. Her dad actually got over to another country. Her brother got murdered on his way over.
Wow.
Like they never found the body, but like no one ever heard from him again. He went to cross the water and he must have got caught.
Went to cross the water? Like what do you mean cross the water? Like an ocean?
I think they were trying to go to. I think he was trying to go to Japan, maybe.
Oh,
He's trying to go to another country close by that didn't have the communism.
maybe he washed up. He washed up on sea.
Mm.
He's
You
and
think
he
he's
saw
still
some
alive?
People,
Buddy,
and some shit happened. And then he said some old man rescued him. The old man died. Old man had millions of dollars.
I don't want to get into jokey about this just because it is somebody
You never
that
know.
I know. No, but I mean, like, we're
you
talking
know
about,
this person?
We're talking about my in-laws' brother.
Oh, you actually know them.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's why I don't want to make jokes about it.
I
'cause-
thought you were just. I thought it was just a person that you.
No, this is my cousin's wife.
Oh, wait, what? Your cousin's wife?
My cousin's wife is Vietnamese, and her older brother and her dad.
You have Asian people in your family?
I mean, not blood relatives. My cousin married a Vietnamese lady
True, I didn't know that.
and a Vietnamese woman, and like my nephews, I would say, are my nephews, and they're half Vietnamese.
Really? I didn't realize that. Cause my nephew's Asian. He's Chinese.
Yeah,
Hakka Chinese, which is
people do mix up. Do you know that?
which is Indian and Chinese. I didn't know. Well, the Irish people do not. Don't let this guy fool you. They do not usually do that. Irish and Vietnamese.
No, but I have a cousin that's like I'll probably, spoiler alert, I'm probably not going to marry a white woman, and
You're gonna marry a white woman.
not all my cousins are married to
I think you're
whites.
I think you're gonna marry a white lady.
That would be a shocking twist
I think you will.
ending to my illustrious career.
I didn't marry a Jewish lady. Everybody thought I was gonna marry a Jewish lady. They were like, for sure, that's what's gonna happen. Didn't end up
But that's
happening.
one thing. You're eliminating like all other races for me, and just to land on white.
Yeah.
But that'd be weird for me.
Because that's what happens.
To what?
You're gonna find a an Irish girl who's like you, and then you're gonna get with her. What if you did? What if you found one that was like you?
I wouldn't want to marry someone like me.
No,
I want to marry somebody way more positive.
what? You are positive.
No, but more. I want somebody that levels me up. I don't want to be held at the same level.
Holy shit!
I'm definitely it's gonna be someone too good for me, and I look forward to meeting you in the future. But let's go back to history.
Someone who's too good for me. What a pussy.
What? I just mean like
too good.
fighting out of my weight class. You know what I mean? Out kicking my coverage. Like he shouldn't be in the ring with her, but he is.
That's good. That's a good thing to think of.
Yes, I know. I'm thinking of it as a good thing. Are you thinking of it as a bad thing? Okay, let's go back to history. So,
What's going on?
Civil War, communism versus anti-communism, Vietnam versus Vietnam. France is helping obviously the South, and Russia and China are helping fund the Northern military. So they're well geared up. So that's one thing. Like when you think about USA versus small country, yes, they were a small country, but they were well equipped. They were getting funded like big time, getting
Sure.
lots of weapons, and they were ready to fight. Apparently, USA didn't get like so many feet on the ground until after the Kennedy assassination. Kennedy was alive for a war before that, where USA got embarrassed by another country, another small country. I don't know who.
Vietnam.
No, somebody before them.
No. And they lost?
I think so.
I thought Vietnam
How about
was the only people that they ever lost to.
North Korea?
They lose to North Korea. They went to war with North Korea?
Oh yeah, Korea. But I don't know if that was before or after. Either way, there was something that made Kennedy afraid to commit too many troops to Vietnam.
True.
But after he got murdered, murdered in '62. That's when the next president was like, "We're gonna go fuck shit up in Vietnam."
True.
Now,
And everybody was against that war.
not right away, but yeah. So Vietnam had a well-equipped army from the north, and then in the south, that's where they had the Viet Cong, the guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
The guys that were like sleeper cells in the neighborhood. Like you never really knew where attack was coming from. Like they were pretty sick.
Bro, this is all so weird. All
What?
this shit. Like a civil war. Like, this is what people actually think will happen in the U.S. They think a civil war will break out.
Yeah.
Where it's like is
Communism versus anti-communism.
as close as like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Brother and son are here, and grandfather's here, and
Yeah.
that's fucked.
And there is people like that. Like say a war broke up right now for anti-mask versus mask. There's definitely people in the same family that are anti-mask and mask.
Bro, I say vaccine. Like that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah. So either way, you have people in the same families that are.
Yeah.
So a divisive issue like communism or anti-communism, it was a thing that would make families be like, no, we're happy with the way life is. And the other guys are like, no, we have to do this, right? So
That's what AI is. That's what's happening with AI. When that comes out, there's gonna be people who want it and people who don't. We're gonna have to go to war
over artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Oh.
For sure.
Now, the Viet Cong were doing great. The Northern Army was holding their own. When they ever had a conventional like battle with U.S. Army, obviously USA would usually win. But
yeah, of course.
there's all these like sneak attacks and everything. It was fucking up shit for the USA. But USA measured winning in body counts, so they started dropping bombs. They're like, oh, these guys are killing some of our soldiers. We need to show them how strong we are and kill like a buttload of them, right? So they would drop bombs, but the more bombs they dropped, the more people supported North getting the North winning.
Of course.
Because they're like, okay, if these guys are dropping bombs on us, like, what the fuck? And that's when anti-war started growing in America. When they saw that America was just dropping bombs on villages, not shooting an army, dropping bombs on fucking villages. That's when anti-war sentiment grew. Now, Vietnam ended up winning the war, and the general of the USA was like saying, this is the first war that was ever fought on TV, and the media had full reign.
Huh.
Which is an interesting thing, because it's like that pressured them.
That's crazy.
To duck out. They're like, we can't handle the fucking heat anymore. We're getting watched too closely.
Yeah. And that's still happening. That's like so true today.
I had to sidetrack a little bit for the war. Like, we weren't talking about Ho Chi Minh specifically there, but the thing is, like, he inspired that whole cause. Like, by the end of it, he was old. He actually died in 69. They won in 75. So he obviously wasn't around to see the end of his vision, but he was held up as like the hero, you know?
Yeah, true.
Because he's the one that started it. He's the one that he was the president for all that time. He was the leader. Even though they had a wait. Oh,
what about what are his cons? Does he have pros?
Yeah. We're not done.
Whoa.
So after the war, him being the hero, you know, they renamed Saigon Ho Chi Minh City. But here's where the cons. You asked for it? Okay.
Yeah.
So he instituted some bad things while he was in charge. Land reform. So he was all about rewarding his soldiers and stuff.
With land.
And they would seize farms from rural landowners and just be like, you guys got to kick rocks. Like, get the fuck out of here. You need to give land to people that are fighting for this country. It'll make sense later.
But who's he taking it away from? Other Vietnamese people?
Yeah.
That's weird. Well, you know, I shouldn't say it's weird. But goddamn.
I know. What a time for the cameras to switch when you're in the middle of saying something. I should have got up that time, I guess.
No. But yeah, it's such an odd thing. Like, you're fighting for like freedom for your people, but then you're taking away from other people. Like, because those people died. Like, if you take away a farm from a farmer, like, what the fuck are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, they don't like the same way we don't know how to farm. They don't know how to do anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Like, I was asking my cousin's wife, and she said, I was asking her how he's viewed, and she's like, the people that were fighting for the North, like living like kings, but a lot of other people are like, this shit didn't work out for us, you know?
Yeah.
And I looked up. Okay, I'll go over here. I looked up the opinions on was he good, was he bad?
Yeah.
From people that lived in Vietnam.
Oh yeah.
So I just pulled one for each, one that was representing the cons and one representing the pros. So,
oh my God, this is perfect.
From the con side, okay, answering anonymously, because who knows who will go after me later on. I don't care how bad he was in politics. It was politics, and Americans can blame themselves that they lost the war. I do too, even though I'm Vietnamese. The communist victory made Vietnam feel like a living hell for more than a decade. Ho Chi Minh was probably a psychopath or someone who had very little feelings for other people. He was definitely a very determined guy and far from being celibate, which is what the Communist Party wanted you to believe about him, to make him like a godlike figure. He had several women, most of whom he abandoned and whom was killed by his comrades with his own knowledge, all because she wanted to make their relationship public. You can read about him by Googling Ho Chi Minh's mistresses, but here are 4 notable ones. Okay, so he had a French woman whom he married in France when he was working there. When he left France, he abandoned her. A Chinese woman who he married when he was living and hiding in China, whom he abandoned. So those two. Maybe that's why it's easy to abandon people when you have a fake name. He had a fake name in
just
France.
Switch your name.
He had a fake name in China.
Oh, and you know what else? He's not like
I don't want to be a player no more.
But like he doesn't give a fuck. He moved to these places because he's like trying to like blend in. So obviously he's gonna take like this wife.
He was faking it.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't even being a real guy. That's not him. That's not Ho Chi Minh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Nguyen Tut Ten.
So it's exactly what I said. Yeah,
that's fucking Chang Vang.
Once you change
Who
your
is that
name,
guy?
that's like
you were married to Chen? I never met him.
Oh man, no wonder Fred Hampton loved this guy.
And there was two more. Okay, there was Nguyen Thi Gian, a Vietnamese minority woman who gave him a child, who became the Communist Party's secretary, a position highly revealed. The stupid guy recently posed sitting on a throne-like chair made of gold in a country still ravaged by poverty. Ha.
That's his son?
Apparently he has a son.
Wow.
And then one other one. A mistress who wanted to go public. He discussed with his party whether it was advisable. This one he's like, yo, this girl's kind of cool. Like, can I go public with it? They're like, no, let's kill her. He's like, yep.
He's like, all right.
He's like, you know what? You guys are right. So that is the con. He might have been a psychopath that's just
I think that's like
fucks a lot and doesn't care about people that he's hurting.
I think that's like a sociopath. Like just no, like if you can marry a chick and you know you're gonna abandon her when you leave, like that's a sociopath because there's no feelings.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
it's a psychopath too. Fuck.
I gotta go. Really. I gotta go free to Vietnam. I'm just gonna fuck you while I'm here.
And you can't be honest because you're fucked if you're honest.
It's crazy that the bringer of light can't be honest.
Ooh.
Who knew
that's
the bringer of light would be so shady?
I asked for light, but you brought me all this shade.
We're just reading what we see on the internet. I don't know what he actually did. This is somebody's opinion that lived there.
Listen,
and they're apparently saying that they were anonymous about it. Now I feel bad for saying that my cousin's wife said anything bad about him. What if we're gonna fuck up her family back home?
Hey, easy, Jesus.
It's fucked up. She said when her mom used to play music that was like from the.
So he's gonna tell us more. He's gonna tell us more. He was afraid of something happening. Now he's gonna tell us more.
True.
You sure?
I'll keep it quiet.
You sure?
Let's go back to the pros. Let's go back to the pros.
Yeah.
Here's a pro. Ho Chi Minh, hero. For me, he is a hero because he was a great and famous revolutionary for all of Vietnam.
Okay.
But he was also an inspiration for others as well. He was an example and a model for every colony that wanted its independence, a revolution. He fought all his life to get a better standard for living for everybody.
Everyone.
He wasn't very strong or very tall, but he showed that he had willpower and a strong personality as well. He never bowed to different difficulties during his fight. His mentality was large, and this little man had many powers in his heart. So those were the two sides of Ho Chi Minh.
Exactly.
There's people that view him like
Che Guevara, same thing.
Yeah.
People, like it's this Fidel Castro, same thing. Like pretty much all these communist people, same thing. I mean, even you, after you went through Fred Hampton's shit, you're like, yo, there's a lot of communist ideas here. Yeah. Right. And then like if you ask somebody else, they'll be like, oh no, it's just black freedom and black pride and all that stuff.
No, he's just reading Communist for Dummies.
Right. So it's like there's always this. There's always back and forth with someone being a hero and them being a piece of shit. And I think that's the only way to be. Like the only way you're going to be a hero is to be a piece of shit in somebody else's eyes. I think.
And look at America. If there's one thing we learned in this episode, if only they just started listening to Asians a long time ago,
right?
We wouldn't be in this mess that we're in. Stop Asian hate, guys. Thank you for listening to Pros and Conquerors. No.
That's how we're gonna end episodes when we have sponsors. That's exactly how we're gonna end episodes. And it's gonna say "Stop Asian hate," just like that, and we're gonna cry a little tear. Fucking right, and then we're gonna say "Cash App" at the bottom.
Yes. We'll just touch on one last con that I had written down that was kind of big, just to see like the violence that he took on his own people. Not that it was at his hand, but it was at his order. Like take the seizing of the land and everything. There's one battle that USA won that like was like getting a farming land back, like a little farming village back from an army that was dominating it or holding it. So when they drove the army out of there, they found over 5,700 bodies buried there. They like wiped out a fucking community to take over a village kind of thing.
Oh, really? He did. Ho Chi Minh like ordered this.
Yeah, so that they could hold. You either got driven out or you got murdered out.
Same thing. That's exactly what Genghis Khan did, right?
Tale as old as time, yeah.
Right? You just fuck people up.
It just sucks that it was against his own people, but they were his own people that didn't want to be communists. So
yeah, right. He's trying to get everybody to walk the same way.
Yeah, because if you're a farmer, you don't want communism.
No,
because a farmer is like you're living off your own land and then you're making money off your shit. So
imagine you work your 18-hour day and then
and they're like, hey, give half your land to that guy because you guys are getting paid to do whatever. Anyways, I don't get it.
Nah, man. Yeah, it'd be fucked up. A lot of people don't want that. That's why it's so That's why it's so despised here. Because it's like you want to be able to work for your shit.
Yeah.
You want to be able to work super hard, and make more money than
capitalism.
You know, I like it in that sense. Only because I'm a driven person and I can make more money.
I think I'm more capitalist than communist.
Yeah, 100%. Me too. I would think so.
Okay. Now,
wait, do we just
with good and bad guys in history? I always like to see what they said. I like to see their quotes. We'll look into some Ho Chi Minh quotes before we go. This is a little bit of a tighter, bite-sized episode, guys. We got places to be today,
bro. It's a tight episode. I'm tired. I'm very tired. I was on set all night. It was crazy. It was really fun. I saw a car get lit on fire. 2 cars lit on fire.
Yeah.
And I saw a guy get smashed into a car really hard.
Wow.
He got hit by a car, smashed into it. It was fucked. And they did it like 10 times.
I bet Ho Chi Minh saw all that in his reign of terror as well. But he did have some cool things to say. Like we said, he was a Confucius scholar. So obviously he's going to have some good quotes. He better. I haven't even looked yet. Let's check it out. To reap a return in 10 years, plant trees. To reap a return in 100, cultivate the people. A blueprint to the revolution.
That's so, yeah. Yeah, see, it's always about molding the people in communism. That's what I notice, is taking over, or should I say taking over, but like manipulating the people's thought processes.
I'm guessing this one was for at the USA.
Okay.
You can kill 10 of our men for every one we kill of yours. But even at those odds, you will lose and we will win.
Okay. So Tupac said something similar to this. He said, "Real niggas don't die; they multiply."
Ooh,
I think that's exactly what he's saying. I think that's.
He has one about the black race.
What?
It is well known that the black race is the most oppressed and most exploited of the human family. Now, I'm going to stop right there before I continue. No wonder Fred Hampton was fucking with this guy. He's like, this guy gets it.
100%.
He didn't even like look into like the communist side of it. He's just like,
nah, right here. That was it,
bro. Okay,
that could be true.
It is well known that the spread of capitalism and the discovery of the new world has an immediate result: the rebirth of slavery, which was for centuries a scourge for the
Negroes.
And I don't. Are white people allowed to say that word?
Nah,
probably not. Just avoid it where you can, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And a bitter disgrace for mankind. What everyone does not perhaps is that after 65 years of so-called emancipation, American
Negroes
still endure atrocious moral and material sufferings, of which the most cruel and horrible is the custom of lynching.
Niggas.
That was so many words I don't even know. I just was trying to get through it without saying the N-word. What was he talking about there?
He's just talking about how oppressed they are. It's well known the spread. He's basically saying, and people say this all the time, how slavery has rebirthed, scourged the Negro. But what everyone does not perhaps know is that after 65 years of so-called emancipation, American Negroes still endure an atrocious and immoral. Oh yeah. He's just basically saying, he's like, yo, black people are fucked, and after so long, they're still fucked.
Yeah, they got freed, but they're still getting treated like shit. Makes sense. And it's funny that you read it out like that, because it's like we're on a podcast and you're like, does that? Can you read better by not reading out loud? Is that why?
No, I can't. Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, okay. So he had some obviously perceptive thought on that one. After the rain, good weather. In the wink of an eye, the universe throws off its muddy clothes.
What? After the rain, good weather. In the wink of an eye, the mighty clothes. Oh, that's deep. That's oddly deep. I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too. I'll just pick one last random one.
Make it a sweet one.
I've never cared for humming verse, but what to do inside a jail. I'll hum some verse to pass long days. I'll hum and wait till freedom comes.
Oh, god damn. Fred Hampton for sure was vibing to that one.
That's from Ho Chi Minh's Poems from the Prison Diary. He actually wrote a couple books. He wrote The Blueprint for the Revolution, Poems for the Prison Diary, and then I think there's just like one book of a bunch of his like little sayings and writings. I like smart guys. I like smart guys with good quotes.
Everybody does. That's what charisma is.
What's your read on this? The thing is, doing it in a bite-sized episode without really digging into
he's a good guy.
These cons,
he's a every time there's somebody who's like a high achiever, they're like fucked up in some kind of way. You know what I mean? Like if you dig into any person who's like mega good at anything, like if you look into Tony Robbins, super positive guy. If you look at his story, it's fucking crazy. It's horrible stuff he went through. So it's like you always see, like when you see the smart guy who's able to speak really well like this.
Yeah.
There's always some underlying thing that happened, and there's always this. I guess it's like a craziness towards like if this guy was an athlete, he'd be LeBron James. You know what I mean? Like he just immersed himself in it. He moved over to Russia to learn about communism.
Oh, like
you know what I mean? The dedication,
like a student of the game.
Yeah.
Like if communism was basketball, he's LeBron James.
Yeah, like it's so weird. Like
he's the LeBron James of communism.
It's like you got to be a little. I guess you know what C.T. Fletcher says. You got to be a little obsessed to be good at something.
And when Cleveland beat Golden State, that's like when Vietnam beat the USA. Because he went
dropping bombs.
He couldn't. So when LeBron couldn't win in Cleveland, he had to go to Miami. When Ho Chi Minh couldn't win in Vietnam, he went to Russia first. He's just
True.
like, oh, communism's winning all day over here. Just alley oops, fucking behind the back passes, using fake names, fucking hoes, getting money. And then he's like, all right, let me go back and do it for my city. Goes back, Cleveland.
True.
This is for you.
And dominates. Comes back like Jesus from India.
Yeah.
Just shows up, ready to fucking walk on water.
Saigon, this is for you. I wonder how long the restaurant Saigon House has been around, because they renamed the city from Saigon to Ho Chi Minh. So Saigon House, somebody's still representing for old Saigon.
Yeah. You know what? There's probably like a style of food that's like original to Saigon. So they're like, this is a Saigon house. You can get that authentic.
It's that Vietnamese food that white people can tolerate.
Not too much spice.
Yeah.
Please, just not too much spice.
We used to be a French colony, you know? Anyways, overall, I think the guy sounds like a very interesting international man of mystery.
Yeah.
Went around the world and then came back and won a war. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool life. Whether he was good or bad, the man had a fucking sick life. And I'm surprised they haven't made a movie about him.
It's coming. It's for sure coming.
There's so many. Me and this guy, we're going to pitch. We got a meeting with Warner. We're going to pitch a series of movies. We got Shaka Zulu.
Yeah.
We got
Shaka Zulu's big.
We got a great one with Shaka Zulu. We already know who we want to direct that one. Actually, and it's Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder made 300. I didn't even realize that.
Really?
And me and you were talking about having the guy that did 300 do Shaka Zulu.
Oh, that would be perfect. And you said you wanted to see the Snyder cut of Jesus.
of
Passion of the Christ.
Ho Chi Minh would be a good one. We had a bunch of guys.
It's Ho Chi Minh, Genghis Khan all day.
There's already movies about Genghis Khan.
Nah, but like
there's lots. There's good ones.
I mean, like a.
Okay, sure.
You know what I mean? Like that.
That story is. It could still be told again, but I've seen a good Genghis Khan movie already.
Really?
Yeah. You know how they sing like that?
No, I have no idea.
I'll send you it after. Anyways.
You have it on your phone, bro?
No, it's on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, so Ho Chi Minh, Obviously a revolutionary, obviously inspired good movements around the world. Really into communism. Might have killed a lot of people. And
Definitely killed a lot of people. It's okay.
and might have fucked girls, might have been celibate. There's two sides to that story.
He definitely wasn't celibate. I mean, he just couldn't be. You know what I mean? That was those were a lot of ladies that person just listed off, and it makes perfect sense that he would say I'm celibate. Maybe he was like, I never loved a bitch, you know.
Yeah.
Until I love a bitch, I'm still a virgin. Maybe he's like one of those guys.
True.
Oh, you like that? You like that game? You want to go with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, use that line. Now?
I haven't fucked anyone I loved yet, so I'm not. I'm still a virgin. I'm a virgin until I make love. I like it. Ho Chi Minh. Yeah, go read his books. Go look at his quotes. He had some interesting things to say. Smart guy, and whether he was good or bad, that's up to you to decide. We're not taking sides over here.
Nah, I'm not gonna take sides on Ho Chi Minh. If there's statues of him, there's
a whole city named after him.
Yeah, exactly. They should stay up. But if you want to tear him down, I get it. And you know what? He would get it too.
You know,
he would be like, oh yeah, okay, standing up. You're standing up to the new oppressing thing. He'd be a good job. Do it. One
quote I saw about his life. This guy, a man of many names, a man of many places that he lived. He never lived in one place for too long. He never had one name for too long. Eventually, dies and gets both forever. Ho Chi Minh City, a place, and a name for his own. Guys, that was Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history. I'm James Jam Easy Cummings. You can find me at Jam_Easy.
And I'm Colin Cummings. I'm never ready to do this, but I'm Colin Cummings. You can catch me Colin's Process. And you can catch me on a new podcast called Wagwan with the Wagwan.
Wagwan with the Wagwan. Wagwan with the Wagwan. Are we moving Pros and Conquerors to Wednesdays and Wagwan with the Wagwan to Mondays? Yes, I think so.
Yeah. We talked about that.
Game, set, match. I just won another argument. No. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. It means so much to us that you're listening, that we recorded this episode today.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening, Joe. Shout out to Joe. Thanks for listening, bro.
Yeah, and shout out to Mary's Buds as well. Always love your support.
Oh, Zach. Shout out to Zach. I love you, buddy.
Yeah. And shout out to, like, you know, that other guy that listens to.
All three of you guys. we sit down, we fucking, it's all good.
Yeah. No, it's a cult classic. All right, guys. Peace. See you next one.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to Pros and Conquerors, the bad boys of history. Rate, review, subscribe, and share. And remember to participate on our Instagram and shit and all that good stuff and blah, blah, blah. Follow us on Instagram.